I'm not sure. I mean, I guess what I really tried to do was make it me, and right now, I just wanted it to be reflective of whatever was going on with in my brain, or in whatever I'm going through right now in my life, with experiences and stuff. And I'm a teenager. This is my last year of being a teenager and getting to be a teenager and show that in my music.
Right.
And I wanted to have fun with it. I felt, I think instead of worrying about, I want to come across this way in front of people and look a certain way, it's like, you know what? I just want to be myself. I just want to be me. And I'm kind of an odd person. I'm kind of weird and kind of goofy, and I wanted that to come out in an
endearing sort of way.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, I wanted that to come out in the music, because it's like, to be honest, it's hard for me not to be me. It's hard, and I can't help it. As much as sometimes it's like, I can't. You act a little more mature, a little more cool, David. It's like it's just who I am, and I feel like I need to be true and real and honest with my music. So the songs have more of that fun, kind of lighthearted side of David. And what's cool, I think, is, I really wanted to try and find a balance between that fun, lightheartedness, along with meaningful things and having substance in the songs. And I feel like I was able to accomplish that with the album.
Great. Now, you mentioned that you wrote a lot of songs on the record, actually. I think that there's maybe all but one or two songs you actually had a hand songwriting in. Was the songwriting process for you easy? Did it all come very naturally, or?
It was not easy. I can tell you that. It's always hard for me before, like at the beginning especially, it was hard for me to say anything, period. It was just hard. It's like, what should I say? What is it that I want to get across, and how do I say it? Like, I know what am feeling, but how do I get that into words?
Right.
Words are used to describe an idea or how you're an emotion or feeling, and I hadn't mastered that. and now I think it's to the point where it's like, I don't know how to get to the point. Right. It's like the opposite end. I can't get it down to just a few verses. I need like a bunch of pages to explain what I want to get across. Right. So it's a challenge for me because it's either one end of, I don't know what to say, or how do I say this a lot shorter?
Right.
Because the song's only so long, but it was really fun. There are a lot of different ways to write a song. That's what I've definitely learned. And it's especially in Nashville, I learned that's where I really, the writers there, especially the Joy Williams, who's a writer and an artist, she and the other writers were just really patient with me, and they really just allowed me to figure out what it is I wanted to say and what I wanted to do, and it kind of mapped out the rest of the rest of the year pretty much. And so I'm really just appreciative of them and for their hospitality and their patience with me.
Well, let's take a listen to one of the songs on the album that you did write. It's called Elevator. It's actually one of my favorite tunes from the record.
Oh, thanks.
So let's take a little listen to that right now.
All right.
See, do you need a backup singer on your tour? I can totally work that out for you.
Yeah, I haven't had a backup singer.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this and how Elevator came together?
Well, this song actually came pretty fast. It came really fast. I was working with these writers, Mike Crumpus and Shelley Pike, and we were working on another song called "Who I Am" on the album, and we were just kind of recording that and getting the rough vocal on that. And then when Shelley, she took me back to where I was staying, and she's like, "Let me know if we do end up getting any time to work on anything else. Let me know." And I had a dream the night before, and it had been in my mind, and it's like, well, I had a dream, and I was like, oh, this is so stupid, I'm not going to tell you. And she's like, no, wait, tell me. So, okay, well, I had a dream last night, and I was on an elevator, and I wasn't sure what floor to get off of, and it's like there are all these floors, and it was kind of like Inception, where it's just really bizarre and abstract. And she's like, huh. And so the next day we finished up Who I Am, and then we had just a little bit of time. We had places to get to, but we're like, we have a little bit of time here. Let's just try something. And so we started working on the idea of my dream about elevators, and just kind of just went with it. It just came out. It just happened really fast, really naturally, and in like 30, 45 minutes. And it's just what it is. And I think that's what's so magical about it. It wasn't trying to be anything else.
From dream to reality.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, my phone is blowing up with so many tweets that are coming through from your fans. So let's start answering some fan questions. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. This one comes in from Snow Angels, who's asked, did this album involve more work than the last one, or was it more fun overall? I mean, you sort of talked about this a little bit, but as far as you were writing a lot of songs and, you had more of a hand in it, the actual recording process, did you find it easier to sing the songs because you wrote them yourself?
You sing them in a different way because you have to be the one to figure out what needs to be said and how it needs to be said. Mm-hmm. Where with other songs, like with the first album, it was mainly other people writing them and giving them to me, and me saying, okay, I like this song, and just figuring out, okay, what is this song trying to do? Mm-hmm. And figuring out how to interpret it, still in your own way, but not 100% yourself. And so with this album, I really made it a goal it's like, I just want it to be me, because I don't want anyone else to be able to say, you're not doing it the right way. Mm-hmm. You're not, this is how it needs to be done. You don't know what to do. It's like, well, I know for sure what needs to be done, because I know what I'm trying to accomplish. I know what the songs need to say and how it needs to be said. And so I was able to trust myself a lot more this time. And because before it's like, oh, okay, well, the writer's saying I'm not singing it the right way, or there's not enough emotion in it, or it's not, it's, those kinds of things. And okay, well, I guess they're right because it's their song.
Right.
No one was able to say that, because I had control over this album, and it was a really good feeling.
Right. This is sort of a follow-up to that question. This comes from Kathy HKs, who says, love the album, and I definitely hear David in the lyrics. How much input did he have on the music side?
On the melodies, I had a lot of influence, and it just depended on what kind of song, on production. Mm-hmm. In the songs in Nashville, I had a lot of say. So actually, The Other Side of Down, which was, it's interesting because it's probably the first. I mean, I wrote more songs, but it's the oldest song that made it onto the album.
Okay.
It was the first song it's the oldest of the bunch.
And but how long ago did you actually write that song?
It was almost a year ago that we wrote it. But with production and stuff, it was one of the last songs. Mm-hmm. So there's that one, and also the last song, My Kind of Perfect, which what's interesting about that song, it started with an idea, and it was with the piano idea, and then it built with more production. But it's like it didn't sound right. It's like the emotion's not right. So I was like, we need to take away more. We need to take away more, and I went in and re-recorded it so that the sensitivity that I was looking for matched, and the piano and the vocal. We just kind of redid it, and now I feel like it's such a magical song because it's just really honest and really real in what it's saying. But yeah, like, so those kinds of songs, I had quite a bit of say, and same with like Elevator and
it's really
yeah, sorry.
Well, it's really great to hear how much you've grown as an artist, and you're taking like such a leading role in the music that you're actually doing now. When you were making this record, what were some of the other artists that you were listening to and that you were looking up to and trying to emulate?
I was trying to look at people I admired, not just for the sounds that they used, but the way they came across. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to just focus on that song sounds cool. I mean, at first I kind of was thinking that, but the more I got into it, I wanted to focus on people who it was about what they were saying, how they were saying it, not just with the lyrics, but the way they sang and the way they came across as an artist and what they were all about as an artist. And I wanted to,
like who specifically?
A Fine Frenzy. The last album that Allison did had a big impact on me with what I wanted to do with this album, because she went from doing more emotional, heartfelt music to doing a more happy, kind of positive, quirky album.
Right.
And I just loved that. I loved that she was able to still be fun, but not be, it wasn't just about the topics that she was singing of, like, in order to be youthful and fun, I'm going to sing about partying and high school love. It was still kind of about things that she really thought about, and you could tell had substance to her personally, but was still fun. And it's like, I want to be able to do that. And so it was, I kept her in mind. I kept Natasha Bedingfield in mind because she was she's a pop artist like I am. You know, we're both in pop music, but I have so much, people have so much respect for her because of the things she sings about and just her talent that she has. And it's like, you know, I kept her in mind too, and just, you know, wanting to do kind of fun young stuff, but still have a meaning behind it. And it means something to me.
Any DAFG wants to know more about Nashville, and if you can elaborate on the influence and experience there.
Nashville, they just have a really different perspective on music and what they focus on, what matters to them. Their priorities when they're writing a song are very different from New York or LA, because I guess the atmosphere and the community there is a lot more laid back. And, you know, a lot of people just assume that it's mainly country there. And it's very prominent in country, but they do a lot of other stuff too. You know, they even do, you know, urban stuff and indie music and rock and pop. So the people there, I loved how they just were really focusing on building the song. They didn't just make the song because it was the catchiest, most hip thing. It was about bringing out that feeling and idea, and it's making sense with who's singing it.
Right.
And they really allowed me to think about how I wanted to develop as an artist. And so the people there are just awesome. There's some very talented people there, and I just love it there. It's great.
Cool. Here is a question from Yulinda Chandra, who says, what is the definition of success according to you, and do you think that you've earned it?